Hello, everyone. Welcome to the brand new episode of The Business Queens. Today, we have amazing and charming Miss Jaya Sharma on the show. She is the founder of Jaya Sharma and Associates. Thank you so much, Jaya, for joining us today.
Very good evening, and thank you, Ishleen, for the amazing invite, and hope I'm able to, fulfill the very criteria why you've invited me here.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Jaya, let's start with your journey. How did you decide of starting this organization? What was the idea behind it?
So, the firm Jaya Sharma and Associates, which I started in 2009, and being the first generation, I would say, the professional come business entrepreneur to on both sides, on my Nana's side and Dada's side. So nobody had even stepped into, getting the shoes of a CS degree or an LLB. In fact, when I completed my CS in 2007, so when I told them that I've become a company secretary by profession, the very first word they heard was like, the company secretary, secretary matlab wo short skirt or heels pen ke aayenge and they'll be coming with the notes to come. I was saying, no, that's not what I have done. It's like a corporate secretary, because I think so at times the names and the profession, it was not very prominent or at that point of time in 2007. So I started my firm soon after my internship, and I did my training and internship under my mentor. I worked with him for 2 years, and then I was clear enough, I guess, from grade 6 in my schooling stuff that I'll be doing my own setup, no matter whatever profession or business I intend to get into. So right from the schooling system, the vision was very clear. And in 2009, I set up this firm in the name of Jaya Sharma and Associates. So after a span of 14 years, have been a decent journey with all its learnings and all, been a professional space. Yes, it comes with its own set of challenges because first of all, you have nobody to support to initially. Now, none of the family members, they don't even know what are exactly you are doing.
Right.
And then taking the help of the mentors, having the right mentors, that's what guided me. And connecting with the right people, the right when you are stuck up with professional queries or with transactions which you may have not done to, because everything can't be done just in one day.
True.
So, and fortunately, by God's blessings, I was blessed enough to have the right people, being surrounded by the right connect, which helped me to take up the transactions and execute them at the same point of time. And I have till date, touch wood, we have the clients who have been there with us for more than a decade till now.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, tell me one more thing. What actually inspired you to start your career in law?
Okay, now this is a completely different story. At times, whenever I speak I'm doing a training session or even a motivational session for students. So the very intention of doing my law, because I always wanted to be a journalist and a writer. So, journalism was my very passion. And so this was one of the reasons I took up law. And coincidentally, at that point of time, one of my friends in the law college, they introduced me to CS. So I found it very interesting, and the domain being very much unexplored. And especially the profession was very much not, because in case if you compare a CA degree versus a CS degree, yes, the regulations both are different, and CA is very much prominent. In fact, CS ko aaj bhi log they are not aware even today. So, and in that unexplored domain, and also then you can just have the male versus the female candidates who are stepping into this profession. So that was very much lower. You could just count the company secretary females in practice on their fingertips. So I found this domain very exciting, and This is how I was clear that I didn't take my sanad at that point of time, but I opted for this and set up the firm.
That's, amazing. And sometimes I feel that few things are destined, you don't plan the things, but you never know how the things are going to turn around.
Exactly, I totally agree with you. And I think so, it's always, you can't be rigid with your plans because he has different set of plans maybe, and he wants to, just go with the flow.
Exactly. Okay, so tell me one thing. You are also certified in corporate social responsibility. So, what is the importance of certification in your field, and I would say in any of the fields?
In case if you just want a degree to be just displayed on your wall, then definitely the number of degrees you have, the less it is. But in case I would suggest the entrepreneurs, or even the women entrepreneurs, the certifications and upscaling yourself, upgrading yourself would play definitely an important role. But you need to find your niche, you need to find your passion. This is what, in example, if you want to do a certification course in CSR, or if you want to do a certification course in any of the field which you are interested, don't just do for the degree or just because your colleagues or your friends are doing it. But I would highly recommend that whether you'll be able to implement that, whether you'll be able to make a difference or make a change in that. When I took up the CSR as a certification course, which our institute was offering, the thing is, because we as professionals needs to advise to our clients lots on CSR, and this is legislation wise, it was very much recently introduced under the new act, Companies Act 2013. And I found that this was very much, the awareness needs to be there. And yes, definitely after 10 years, the scenario is completely different, because we are one of the only countries which have actual CSR responsibility being incorporated or ingrained in your very law. So whatever degree or additional upscaling, yes, or whatever industry you are belonging to, it is required. But also at the same point of time, if you can, make it implemented and use it in your daily executions as well, then it will be really helpful.
Right. And you have raised a very valid point that certifications shouldn't only be for your walls. You are just, displaying it that I've done 10 certifications. Because I actually know people who have done so many certifications, and on a later stage, they themselves get confused at which is the field they should choose. Because they have done certifications in diversified fields. They
Correct.
themselves aren't sure which one do they actually need to do or not. Okay,
Very.
so when we are talking about certifications, you are also a posh trainer. So what are the changes in that area you have seen in recent times?
This act was introduced in 2013, and especially after Nirbhaya incident in 2012, we finally were because it was pending since 1997. I mean, if we go way back to the history. But finally, when the legislation came out in 2013, I was always keen, and I wanted always to make a difference and contribute a bit of into this posh domain. And lockdown gave me the opportunity, Ishleen, to make myself a certified registered trainer, and as an external member. Because despite of, if you nowadays, if you even if you see after a decade of the law, the awareness still is a bit still lagging behind. We need to still match that awareness as compared to when it was introduced in
Yes.
2013. Still, corporates are a bit hesitant, practically on the grassroots level, I say.
Absolutely. Even I know ample cases. I'm also a certified posh trainer. I have been through ample cases where the corporates are afraid of getting the employees trained because they feel that if they will get their employees trained, the cases will increase. People will start complaining.
Yes.
So
That's
that
fear we have. That's
yeah, that notion has to change because if any employee is working with you, whether it is a male employee or a female employee, their safety is your responsibility. You cannot shirk from that. You cannot say that if we'll train them, more complaints will come. If they'll
it.
go to police and complain, it is better that they complain internally and you handle the matter internally and your reputation is not spoiled.
Correct, correct. Totally agree, because And we need more posh trainers and more awareness sessions also, because it's not just a tick box compliance what needs to be.
Yeah. And still, there are many companies who are doing the same. It is just a tick box activity for many of them. I've seen many of them who are, whose HRs are doing it just for the sake of showing it on paper that we have got our employees certified. They have done the training session. So it's just a formality in many of the cases. And still, I know many of the organizations who are still not applying it. They are not even imparting trainings. So how are they surviving? Like, what are the legal implications of it?
Yes, legal implications is in case if there's a surprise check or a surprise visit by the regulator's office, then definitely the notices would be there, the penalty clause would be there, and social media nowadays is so active. I mean, even your employees, if anything gets posted on the social media walls, definitely your goodwill also gets staked at the same point of time. So yes, the repercussions are there. But rather than waiting for these surprise visits and the notices to come by, it's always advisable to proactively, if it is applicable to any type of, because it doesn't bifurcate whether it's a partnership firm or a Section 8 company or a trust, whether it's an organization having a particular X limit of the employees, you need to have that. So, I mean, why wait for the notices and the visits to happen?
Right. And the laws are getting more strict when
Yes.
we talk about, sexual harassment at workplace. And this is the need of the hour. There are a lot of women who are stepping out to work. It is their safety and security need, because if it is not going to get implemented, then people will always be afraid of sending their, whether they are their sisters, spouses, mothers, whosoever, to the workplaces. And these days you cannot say that I will work only 9 to 6. You have night shifts. There are a lot of new, areas opening up where women are working in night shifts as well.
Correct.
But I would say, if something has to happen, it can happen in the day as well.
But the thing is, Ashleen, one more thing, like major 80% of the day we are spending at our workplaces.
Hmm.
It's a morning shift or a work shift, or we even work from home. In
Hmm.
fact, practically, if I can give you an example, work from home, there were more complaints which were coming
Hmm.
because of the sexual harassment. But now, when I'm speaking to the audience, they say कि work from home के time पे कैसे हो सकता है? But the
Yeah.
thing is, people were harassed. Yes, definitely, there's a thin line of difference between the mental harassment and the sexual harassment, but definitely the instances had this.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if you also see at the brighter side, I mean, if we see that the brighter side, there are many corporates who are going by the law and even complying more than what is required, rather
Right.
than just focusing on the female policy. They are having a gender neutral policy
Hmm.
in house.
Hmm.
So they are trying to make it more inclusive.
Hmm. That's true. And I believe there is a long way to go, but somebody has to start. And it is wonderful that there are organizations who are coming up and initiating this.
Yes, and also I always request, if whenever we are conducting our sessions, that the employees, I don't know, at times they are hesitant to become IC members. कि
Hmm.
हम नहीं बनेंगे. I mean, if you are able to make a contribution or make a difference, you
Right.
should be a part of that committee as
Hmm.
an employee in the employee capacity. And also the awareness and the discussions needs to be there, but that can't happen between the team or the employees or the organization if they themselves don't know what this law is all about.
Right, right. Okay, Jaya, tell me one more thing. You are also the part of many awareness things. You also run awareness campaigns. You also give training sessions. So, what all is included in that? And if I talk about our audience, who are primarily small and medium business entrepreneurs, what are the different legal things they must keep in consideration? Like, Posh is one thing, because I have seen so many entrepreneurs who still don't apply it. They say our organization is very small to apply that, which is not true.
Correct. So in case if you're a startup, there'll be like number of compliances what you need to do. And no matter whether you are a small size or a medium sized businesses, compliance is compliance, because once you have formed an entity,
Mm.
and unless you're running it in the form of a sole proprietorship, then you can just take your own calls and no matter how you want to run it. But in case if you have taken the responsibility of forming an entity and people are getting associated with you, there are no excuses for non-compliances with the law or just to brush it under the carpet.
Right. Okay, so tell us one more thing. How does Jaya Sharma and Associate help the clients in following all the legal responsibilities that they have?
See, with regards to the compliances, आप जैसे बोलते हैं कि we can compliance doctor बोल सकते हैं, just kind of funny on a lighter note. But the thing is, when you are a part of sitting on the professional end or as a consultant and an advisor to the clients, you can't just put yourself in a pigeonhole or a compartment saying that कि हमारा role इतना ही है. You need to liaison with your chartered accountant, with the tax, with the accounts department, with the HR department. You need to coordinate with all the teams of the internal organizations, and also you need to make themselves aware that this is the amendments what they have come, and what protocol what we have in our firm is every time the updates come, it's circulated through emails and through WhatsApp communications to our clients. And also we prefer on the Saturdays basically to conduct awareness sessions with our clients one-to-one in case if the new law have come and they need further clarity on that. Because the thing is, if you need to decode and simplify that to the clients, because the main reason of the client is not, they are not here to do and comply, do the compliances. It's our responsibility or in-house legal and the secretarial team. You need to decode and simplify and explain it to them. This is what needs to be done.
Right. And this is a consultant's or advisor's job, I would say. I, being a coach, I also agree with the same thing. You have to speak the language that your customer, your client understands. If you are talking in the jargons, if you are using the words that they don't know what is the meaning of that. If I am giving a strategy call to somebody and I'm just giving him the strategy, this is the name of the strategy, this is the name, nobody will be able to apply it. You have to speak in their language, the language they understand, they comprehend, and they can apply.
Yes, totally agree. And how much you simplify them, because their main focus needs to be there on the business and how they can grow the business, not rather than what is the due date of your GST or your ITR or what are the due dates for your corporate compliances.
Absolutely.
That's the reason they have hired you on board.
Absolutely. Okay, so Jaya, you are also a philanthropist. Throw some more light on that.
I don't know. In my college days, I had read. I cannot recollect where, but there was a very small saying which said, "Ki whatever percentage of total income you are able to earn with God's grace, at least try making at least 1 to 5% or 10% of your savings for that." And since then, I guess I have tried following the pattern. Since 2012, I've been associated with KC Mahindra's Charitable Trust of Nanni Kali, whereby at least I try making my contribution by sponsoring the 2 to 3 girl child's education annually. And there's another NGO which I am also, I mean, my firm is also actively associated, Bean Childcare. And the founder of Bean Childcare, Mr. Rakesh Khernar, I know him almost for 8 to 9 years. Since he was associated with another NGO. And then few years during lockdown, he started his own NGO. And this gave me the opportunity to collaborate with him and just do our bit in whatever small way we can. And we also always just make sure that wherever you can make a difference, not just monetary wise, but in whatever small way you can, we need to do that.
Right, absolutely. Okay, tell me one more thing. How do you manage all this? Because, being an entrepreneur is a full-time job. Then being a woman, you have to handle your family. There are so many things because still, if I say family, the primary responsibility falls on a woman. If somebody is sick at home, first of all, they look up to the women of the family to, take care of them. Then in case they are very understanding, one thing. And in case the woman is busy somewhere, then it goes to the male counterparts. Otherwise, it is women only.
Totally agree. And there are no doubts, no second thoughts on that. But I guess I mean, I have been blessed with my Iron Lady, whom I call my mom, since right from the day of my birth. And since took my first step, she and my Nani, who is no more, but they had been my rock solid support. And after marriage, it's my mother-in-law and my mom who are able to support me and take care of my son so that I can come to work and manage the work and make it grow and make a difference at the same point of time. And thanks to definitely my parents, my in-laws, and my son, Rudra, and my spouse as well. Because without them, I mean, without the strong family support and an understanding, it will come with its own challenges, and the frustration then gets carried forward, and there is a misbalance. But
Right, true.
the
I
balance
think,
always
yeah.
needs to be there.
Balance has to be there. And I always suggest people, whenever you are in trouble, look for somebody who can support you. We always have a support system, but being a woman, we are somehow hesitant to ask for it.
Yes, I agree. But I don't think so there is anything wrong if you're asking for some help to, in case if you're working late, if I'm working late, I request my spouse and I just call him up, please, if you can, just pick my son up from his classes or something like that, or even my father when I'm traveling for meetings. But I guess we need to be let little more less hesitant and little more less guilty rather
Right.
than just trying to be in guilt space all the time ki I'm not there at this place, I couldn't be there for my son's friend's birthday party where other moms were there, because at times we are made to experience or travel that guilt trip.
Hmm.
So whenever you are needed or wherever you can, just make sure you can. But the thing is, it's not always possible to say yes to everything.
True.
Set your priorities right.
Yeah, and I somehow feel when we are new moms, we are more guilty. But by the time our children grow up, we also learn this thing that we can't be available every time. And I somehow feel when mothers are not available always, children become more independent as well.
Yes, I totally agree on that. And initially, when my son today, he's 11, right now he's 11 years old, but when he was 1 or 2 years old, or during his playgroup days, I still recollect that for few of my clientele meetings, I have taken him for the meetings, and he was waiting there in the lobby, and he was like okay and just sitting calmly. And so right from the day one, I guess when your children observe you, that yes, they start respecting you, I mean, your time, their time as well, and they try to be more disciplined and more independent also.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because when you are saying this, I can recall a lot of instances that happened with me when I left my son. He was only 3 years old when I went for my first training, all the way to, from north all the way to south. But he was able to manage it. And he did not call me up and tell me, Mama, when will you come back? He was okay with it. He accepted it with open hands.
And that's what, and no matter whether it's a boy or a girl, I mean, they both need to be taught that, yes, we are working mothers. And I guess even if you are not working and managing home, that's definitely a 24-hour, 24/7 job. So
Right.
we always say that we are all working moms. And especially when I interview my candidates and they say, I ask about their parents, for example. So they say, my mom is a housewife. मैंने बोला housewife मतलब ये नहीं कि कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं. You are able to come to place, or your parents or your father is able to go to your place because your mom is managing the home, and that comes with its own set of challenges.
And exactly, there are a lot of challenges because I have seen a lot of women, devoting their entire lives to their families, and when their children grow up, they feel so isolated that now nobody is there because they are in habit of running after their children and their family.
There's a void left because your
Yeah.
schedule is completely there is nothing more to do which
Right.
you were earlier doing.
Right. Okay. So tell me one more thing, like being an entrepreneur, and it's been a long journey now. What advice you would like to give to somebody who's looking for being an entrepreneur in the same field, if I say legal field?
Okay. In legal, compliance, secretarial, whatever field, if you, in case if you want to get into, don't just put yourself into one particular compartment. Yes, definitely excel into one or two streams at a later stage, but give yourself opportunity to learn at least during your internship period, or at least in beginning of your career. Try exploring what are the options, or the what are the laws whereby you can learn into practice and identify your interest, and then you can start excelling into that. Because I always just give the audience, or when I'm conducting training sessions, just one example. Ki definitely we all need general doctors, GPs, but the thing is, when अगर आपके कान में दर्द है तो आप GP के पास नहीं जाएंगे. अगर आपके गले में दर्द है, you'll go to a specialist. So after initially आप एक जनरल फिजिशियन बन के आप वो स्ट्रीम एंटर कीजिए, बट धीरे धीरे आप अपने स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट्स एंड आप क्या किस में इंटरेस्ट है एंड आप किस में कंट्रीब्यूट एक्सेल भी कर सकते हैं एंड किस में कंट्रीब्यूट भी कर सकते हैं, नॉट जस्ट फॉर द मनी बट ऑल्सो वेयर बाय इफ यू आर मेकिंग अ डिफरेंस और बी अ चेंज मेकर एंड हैव अ विजन.
Right. And being a specialist in the field is extremely important because I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but I completely believe multitasking is just a myth. Nobody can do everything to anything. You are specialist in one field or the other, but you have to choose and identify that.
Yes. We women are always called best multitaskers, but at the same point of time, what happens, that's my personal experience also, that being a multitasker drains out maximum energy from your day as well, from your time. So it's like multitasking and doing multiple, like managing the family, managing the work. But at that same point of time, if you want to excel into that, you need to sit on a, a monk mode or a snooze mode when you're working on a particular matter.
Right, right. Yeah. So, being an entrepreneur for a long time, what are few strategies or tips or tricks you would share with your counterparts how to sustain business? Because there are a lot of people who start a business, then they drop off. So, how can they grow a sustainable business?
I guess not just by knowing the law, yes, definitely upgrading and updating yourself, but you also need to invest in your professional and your personal relationships and invest in yourself. Don't just whatever you had studied 10 years back in colleges or in your in the universities or the professional degrees, that experience, that was completely theory, but the practical implementation will be different. And when you are dealing with clients, when you're communicating with them, they will not just, I mean, you can't just consider them that they will know the law or anything like that. The more you invest in the professional associations, because they will count upon you in the long run. And then just initially in the beginning, I won't say that the very first check what I had got for the firm was in 2009. The very first check was for INR 2,500 for one of the transactions, initial work we had done for the client, and that check, that laminated copy, I still have it in my file. So it's a journey, definitely, but the thing is, you need to wake up every day, not just drag yourself out of the bed and say that aaj mujhe kaam pe jana hai. In case if you're doing that, then I think so it's time that you are in the wrong profession, or you need to re-identify yourself and rework your strategies and goals. So this is what the small tips which I would like to share it from my experience.
And you said a very powerful thing. Success has no shortcuts. You cannot expect that right from the first day you are going to, yes, if you get succeeded right from the first day, you are lucky. And I would say you landed in the right thing. But life is not the bed of roses for everybody. You really need to work hard and smart at the same time to grow it. And, another thing is, I always tell people, don't lose hope. Just try to learn new things. And it's a very good thing that you just said. I still remember when I completed my MBA long back. It's been, I think, more than 15 years. So if I try to recall whatever I did in my college, I won't be able to recall many of the things. Other than that, the things that were taught to me at that time, I hardly applied half of them. But if you'll keep your degrees with you and keep on applying the same thing, not learning new things, and especially not unlearning that you learned long time back, you are not going to grow in any case.
Agree. And as you said rightly, that life is not always a bed of roses, but also you need to start handling the thorns as well and accept it.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, tell me one more thing. Like, what future holds for women entrepreneurs in India? Because there are a lot of women entrepreneurs coming up these days.
And definitely we need to be there. The 50% of the gender needs to be there. working, whether you are working from home, whether you are working on field, whether you are managing your home, whatever it may be, you need to start respecting and loving yourself in case if you want the world to accept it. सबसे पहले हम अपने आप को ही admit नहीं करते. We stop loving ourselves and identifying ourselves too. Just to make everyone happy around the world, around in the family. Don't do that. And yes, you need to identify your strong points, what are your interests, and definitely the world is your platform.
True. And you know what? I'm a strong believer of this. Stop pleasing people. You cannot please everybody around you. So, if people hate you, if people don't like you, if they're jealous of you, it means you're doing something that they can't do. So stop
And it's their
pleasing them. Stop thinking about them.
yes, and it's their problem, not yours. You can't please.
Yeah, true, true. Okay, so that brings me to the end of today's podcast, Jaya. What is one message you would like to give to our audience that they can keep with them forever?
Okay, I have not thought much about it, but in case if you have not found what you want to do or what you love doing, keep on finding or keep on searching it, because the journey it's a long journey and you have many things to accomplish. So don't just feel satisfied and just sit back and say ki maine bahut accomplish kar liya. And definitely be a change maker, not just a follower. That's what I always believe in, because in case definitely be a learner, but at the same point of time implement it and what you can give back to the society and to your country as well. Be a change maker.
That's an amazing message, because action speaks louder than words. So you need to apply and implement whatever you learn. Otherwise, it is of no use. So thank you so much, Jaya, for giving us your precious time. And it was a pleasure to have you here today.
Same here, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be there on your podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our wonderful audience. This is Ishleen Kaur signing off. See you in the next episode.